screen. I'll now start streaming on YouTube for a second.
Okay. Can you see my presentation already?
Yeah.
Okay, super.
Good colors. So I think we have a stream now. So okay, we are live now. We have Twitter now. We'll wait for a couple of minutes for people to join. And but before that, I mean, we met for the first time we met in Belgrade. So we came to Belgrade to find some developers or DevOps people here. So is it so hard to find people for this job? So you have to come to Belgrade?
Yes, that's a story. So it's actually it is hard. So we don't have enough people, and people don't search new jobs, and also we are very, very specialized in the field what we are doing, and we also need people with automation experience, but also serverless experience. On the other side, also more developer background, this combination is actually hard to find in Germany, and
So can you build these people? How much time does it take to build someone like you? I mean, is it like? How much time does it take for someone to jump in and be productive in your company, to do something really valuable? I mean, that's
that's a good. Yeah, definitely, that's a good question. So for us, I think the most important thing is the mindset and the passion of somebody, and everything else can be learned. And as you said, it's just a thing of time then. But the mindset and the passion is, I would say, the most important thing. And then, we also it's very beneficial to introduce people to real world practices, so that they can participate in real projects and not just like learning or training something. But on the other side, most of our engineers, we are searching for already experienced people. So we have few which we really developed from ground, and they're still working with us. But mostly we are searching already people with this great experience.
But even if they have some kind of experience, like people in different areas, there is so much knowledge about AWS. It just takes so much time to dive in, you know. So what kind of how do you start? I mean, do you pursue certification in AWS? What are the techniques that you use to get people to that high level? I mean, I consider you like as a very good AWS partner, and really guys who are just trying to do some cool stuff. And from the specialties that you're doing, I mean, it's because all AWS partners are trying to find some nice specialties to be recognized for. But you know, what kind of techniques do you use? Like, what's the best thing to get to that level? If you're not,
the best thing is definitely what I already mentioned is getting your hands dirty. So it doesn't bring so much just to spend a lot of time just in labs and trainings and certification. That's helpful, definitely, to give somebody like the base and the direction. But the most important thing I would say is really to get your hands dirty and getting the chance to cooperate in real world projects, getting practice, learn from failures, and on top, we give our community, our colleagues, all possibilities for trainings. These are partner trainings, a lot of partner trainings, but also participating on very exciting events, hopefully in physical events very soon. And also what we really like is to share experience. So we bring people together in projects, but also, for example, we have a tech and beer every Friday, and then people. It's a relaxed atmosphere. The people also don't need to prepare some things in depth, like a presentation or something. They just come with a notebook and show the console and explain what they have built during the week, and that's really, really cool. That makes fun, and people can learn a lot of new things. Yeah.
So, but does that mean that you're actually allowing your junior developers to just do some experiments in production and then fail? And because like everything fails all the time, just Warner Vogel says, is that the best technique, just to let them do stuff in reality, and then
if possible, definitely not alone. So that we would never send a junior alone to a project, to a client project. But if possible, if there's a chance that a junior can participate, then we definitely take the chance, because we see that's the best chance to learn some things, to build some things for a real use case, and not just like in labs or something like that.
Exactly. So the topic that you're bringing to us today is well architected. It's a nice word, like 2 words, but it's actually a whole bunch of different things. Like it's a good practices. It's also tools and many good articles and many things. So it's obviously that many people did some bad things in the cloud. So someone had to make something like called like that, well architected, and make the whole story about this, so people don't make mistakes. So what do you think is the cause for this? What are the biggest issues that people are bringing to the cloud? So what are the worst things? Like, what is the bad architected in your mind? So what do you feel like are the worst examples of people trying to achieve in the cloud that they shouldn't do?
Store your secrets on your repo. Just an example. No, that's simply also a worst thing. But I think a worst thing is, for example, that you don't bring enough skills with you, and that you maybe come with your existing skills, which are far away from cloud, and that you try actually the same things as you did before in the cloud. So that's I would say that's end with not well architected things. So I think it's really important to change to change your skills differently, and to adapt new methodologies and also cultural things. And I would say, but this is maybe very related to us. I think lift and shift is an anti-pattern.
Yes.
We are not specialized in doing migrations. We are very good with modernization and optimization, but we don't see any benefit in lift and shift migrations. That's not our proposal. We don't see any value in the cloud, so it can also stay in your data center. And I would say like the missing automation and DevOps mindset that will also definitely end in a non-well architected environment. And what we also see is, for example, security. That you add security, there's a big lack of security available, and many teams ignore this completely, close to the launch date, or saying, okay, it's not we need to develop now. Security is a topic for later. This is also which ends to not really very architected and unsecure environment, I would say.
Okay, so thank you for this kind of this short conversation. I mean, this is there's so many great things about the topic. I will let you talk now. I won't interrupt you as much as I can. I'll stop myself, but I'll try to jump in if I see that people are asking something or things are maybe a bit complicated, because I would like the audience to really understand what's the idea. I mean, it's just a phrase. But then on the other side, it's not. It's reality. We need to transfer it to reality and see the benefits for beginners and also the experts. So please, guys, everyone enjoy this time.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, then we will start. I hope I fulfill your expectations into with my presentation, because maybe some of you would expect maybe like the final solution to be well architected, but that's not the case. So I will not bring this architecture with me, so that you are well architected tomorrow. So it's more a process and an approach to be well architected. And there's always some things to do to improve your environments, to improve your architecture, to find a new solution, and that's also a good thing. But I will bring you a lot of best practices and also a lot of external informations and frameworks which you can use to improve your architectures and to improve your solutions day by day. Okay, so yeah, short introduction to me. I'm 42 years old, young. I'm coming from Germany, from Hamburg. I have a data center background. So actually I have built for over 20 years shared services for IT outsourcing companies. Very, very similar to what AWS or hyperscalers today are offering. But of course not in this amount of services. So more on the basic service like shared networks, shared storage, shared servers, and directory services, sessions, shared application service, and so on. But actually, we did a very, very innovative job years ago. Then I changed 4.5 years to the public cloud only, and changed my specialization to public cloud only. Yeah, so I'm the CEO and founder of Globaldatanet, and also the founder of O2. I'm a kind of cloud evangelist. Nothing's official, but I'm sharing a lot of content. So you can use the barcode here, the QR code, to follow me on LinkedIn, and I will just bump your feet every day. So happy to welcome you to my network there. Yes, I have a passion for cloud efficiency. That's also the reason why we are starting to build a cloud optimization platform. I also will explain it a little bit more in detail. And I'm a real serverless fan, so I started already to building serverless architectures 4.5 years ago. And this is also like the strategy of our company, of our team, to build amazing serverless architectures. Everybody's talking about this. Less are doing this, but we are definitely building serverless and try to migrate complicated solutions to easy and managed services from AWS. Yeah, I'm also a big fan of traveling. I have a bug. You will see it in the middle of the picture, and and the pictures are from me. Just the pictures from Hamburg on the top on the left side. It's not for me. So that's me. About us, about Globaldatanet. We are an AWS Advanced Consulting Partner. 2017 founded. We have an 100% focus on AWS, which is good because we see how fast the cloud is changing, and also the complete ecosystem, all the developers, tools, frameworks around AWS is just amazing, but it's also hard to get all the nice things. And it's for us, it would it be not possible to be the experts when we try to build also on different hyperscalers. So we are very happy to become specialists with this 100% AWS focus. So every project in our company is definitely has AWS as base. There's no project we would not take a project without AWS. Yeah, we are a small team of 20 talents. We have a lot of AWS certifications, and on the right side, you see also further technology partnerships, but everything is based on AWS. So, for example, we have Datadog as our preferred logging monitoring, and APM is super innovative. We love Datadog. They're also cloud-born, like most of the other tools as well, and that's also the case for us, for Globaldatanet. We are also cloud-native and real cloud-born. Every project is cloud-based. We just became one of 4 Sysdig partners. So Sysdig is a complete enterprise cloud-native security solutions, mainly regarding container security, but more and more also in serverless computing. And O2 is our technology partner regarding cost optimization and FinOps. And HashiCorp, we are using HashiCorp or Terraform. 80 to 90% of our projects are automated using Terraform. This is what clients from us expect from us. So that's the reason why we are also HashiCorp system integrator partner. We also really love HashiCorp. We also are founder of the HashiCorp user group in Hamburg and also contributing a lot to the community. I forgot to mention the ambassador. So we have one APN ambassador working at Globaldatanet. These are the kind of AWS heroes, and they get nominated by the AWS. And in Germany, there are just now 3 AWS APN ambassadors available. 2 are coming from Hamburg, and the third one I don't know. And we're actually very, very proud that we have one of our colleagues, David, as our AWS ambassador. And we also just became I forgot to tell you that we are also a DevOps competency partner. So we are also very proud to become a DevOps competency partner and are close to become also a security competency partner. So we just applied to for the audit to become a security competency partner. But we also are a well-architected partner. That means we got the license, the certification from AWS, and they allow us to fulfill official AWS well-architected reviews for our partners and clients, and with all the changes around this. We have 3 offices, soon 4. We have one office in Hamburg, one in Berlin, and one in Belgrade, and we will open also one office in Novi Sad, so that we have 2 in Germany and 2 in Serbia. What we are doing, we can summarize. Everything's about cloud native applications. So the application is definitely our focus, and we are develop applications, cloud native applications from A to Z, or we help our partners to optimize existing environments and cloud native applications. And the automation, the third one, belongs also to our optimization services and belongs to the operational excellence pillar. But since our company was started with a DevOps automation, AWS DevOps automation company, everything is really about automation with us, and we have a great focus on automation. For this reason, we visualize this as third pillar, automation. Especially with the left one, development, we are actually building very, very great and innovative solutions from A to Z, also using AI and helping customers to this acceleration of the digitalization transformation. We also have our own product and develop our own FinOps platform with a focus of cloud cost optimization, but also cloud financial management. That means visualize the cost, where are my costs coming, how can I assign the costs to teams, to applications, to environments like dev environments, what are the costs for non-productive systems. And on the other side, we're helping teams with improving to build more efficient applications. And we are developing a chatbot for FinOps which are completely integrated to the Teams channel, Slack and Microsoft Teams, and helping them every day by improving their architecture and services to build more efficient workloads, which are everything is super technical and really for developers and operation teams, and they get all the recommendations, findings from us. And we're also planning to help them to in the direction of FinDev to start developing or start already with the development process to build efficient cloud workloads. I added a lot of QR codes. So this, when you use this QR code, you will land to our true LinkedIn page, and we shared already over 300 cost optimization tips on this LinkedIn page. So we are happy to when you follow us there. So now we come to the agenda of my talk. I would like to introduce the well-architected framework, which is the baseline from AWS to build great architectures and proved architectures with the experience of Amazon.com and years of experience of building well-architected solutions. We will go through every pillar of the well-architected framework. I will also show you the labs to learn more about building well-architected solutions. And I will also give you an introduction into the well-architected tool, and also what are the steps to apply for a well-architected review. Okay, a little bit about the history. So AWS already started with a kind of well-architected tool or framework in 2012, and since this is a process or methodology which need to be updated regular or continuously, you see that there's a lot of changes and development are happening. And you see also here that AWS has launched lenses, which are more specialized, well-architected frameworks. We will come to this a little bit later, but also, for example, to integrate Amazon partners like us. Also, it's a process so that since 2017, also partners are helping customers to do this well-architected reviews. There are also a lot of improvements already launched for the future. So this is a process which will never end. There will be new tools are launched and new methodologies launched, and this will be continuously updated also in the well-architected framework. Why we should use this AWS well-architected framework? The goal is for teams to build and deploy faster with all the recommendations. On the other side, we can lower and mitigate the risk. We can make decisions on this one with this feedback which we get, and we also learn a lot from AWS best practices. And as I said, since they are continuously improving these frameworks, there's always some things which we can learn and adapt and change and improve our architectures. So the process or the cycle is actually to learn something new, to implement this. On the other side, measure it with data, get a feedback about this, and then you have maybe the decision to improve your architecture. So what is exactly the AWS well-architected framework? So it's split it into different pillars. We will come in the next slide to this different pillars. We have design principles, which we get from AWS. And on the other side, we get questions from AWS, which we can ask ourselves, or we can use AWS or a partner like us to go through the questions and help you with this one. So these are the pillars of the well-architected. You might have seen the same pillars on our company presentation in the optimization pillar. And we at Globaldatanet, we helping, our business is 100% structured regarding the AWS well-architected framework. So we have operational excellence. This is everything mostly regarding automation, but also about monitoring and logging of our solutions. Then we have security, efficiency or optimization, reliability, performance efficiency, and cost optimization. And for some of our customers, we help them, for example, just with one pillar, for example, security. And there are other companies we are helping them to improve the cost optimization, since we also have quite good knowledge on this one. Coming to the well-architected website, there's a website available with all the pillars and the design principles per pillar. We have a definition and best practices and resources. How it look like? It looks like a lot of text, so it's not the most beautiful website, but the content is the most important. We have here the 5 pillars. You can click on it, and the structure is always the same. You have general design principles to this pillar. Then you have the definition, which are on high level the best practices. For example, best practices areas or categories for security in the cloud. And then the best practices will be explained in detail, but also include all the questions which you can go through and ask and answer with the team. So it's, I think with security, we have around 11 or 9, not 10, sorry, 10 questions. So this is a question. And then you get a lot of more information and explanation about this topic. Now, so for example, here, how do you securely operate your workload? It's a broad topic, and maybe this will, your team will end with a 1-hour discussion about this one. But it also, the text will also help you to really understand these questions and give you also some ideas already. If, for example, enforcing multi-factor authentication, MFA for your accounts, using short-term credentials or something like this. And we have this different best practices. No? For example, here, security, identity, and access management, you have these questions in these best practices. So you can see in the security pillar, in the general security category, best practice category, you have one question: how do you securely operate your workload? Then we come to identity access management, and you will have 2 questions here in this section, and so on. No? Here's detection, and you have 1 questions regarding detection. So how you actually find potential security threats or incidents, what you're doing for this one. And here are, for example, also, if you don't have any idea how to do this, you get a lot of descriptions here, how you can implement detective controls. For example, enable CloudTrail, reading AWS API calls, using CloudWatch, using AWS config for compliance controls or security controls, or Amazon GuardU for network intrusion detection, and so on. So you get already a lot of ideas to answer the question, how do you manage identities for people and machines? And when you go to this question, you will get also more descriptions, a lot of resources to learn more about this topic, and also like an improvement plan. And you see, you get a lot of information. And but this is then for later. If you say you have a gap regarding identity management, then you have already a lot of best practices and ideas how to improve identity and access management. For example, as I said, using temporary credentials instead of using long-term credentials like IAM users. We could use single sign-on, or we can use roles to get temporary credentials. Okay, so this to the well-architected content website. A lot of informations and nothing's what we can read in a day, but it's some things which we continuously can work with. There's also very interesting for really beginners how to do this well-architected reviews. There's also a very interested training available, which is not just for partners available, but also for the public available. So it's completely free and it's updated. So I just updated because before it was another link which is still valid, but this is a brand new course, which is 1.5 hour. It's also in different languages available, and and it will go also split it in different modules, and will go through every pillar in detail. And after you have finished this course, you also will get a nice certificate that you finished the AWS Well Architected training. So as I said, I have the links are obviously in the presentation. Yeah, you can use the QR code or you can click on it. So I showed you already that we have pillar-specific design principles. That is this one, but everything start with also general design principles, which we should have always in mind, and then we look into specific topics, pillars, and going more into details and directions. So here are some general design principles for you. One of the design principles are stop guessing your capacity needs. So before we use the public cloud, we need to estimate and guess a lot, and I can say that that was definitely a failure. And we always planned capacity with absolutely worst case plus, I don't know, 20%, and we ordered very, very expensive and hardware for all our use cases, so that we have enough resources available to breathe, and that we don't have any problems with it. And mostly the systems were actually idling and had nothing to do or less to do, and we provisioned more resources which we actually use. So my recommendation is that we definitely learn from data, from metrics, and start small and then adjust and improve continuously your capacity. Or even you use more serverless components that you even don't need to plan capacity or calculate capacity. The next general design principle is test systems at production scale. So it's super important that we start with testing. Of course, testing is a huge topic. That we start, of course, from before we development with writing tests. But when we want to test our full product or application, we also should not forget to test it in a production environment as well. So when it's, for example, under a load and in a real atmosphere, so that we use load tests to stress the system and bring also the system to fail to get some feedback what we need to improve. So it's the testing should not stop in your dev or test environment. It should definitely have a production environment, and we need to check if scaling is working, and if there's some things which we can break and then improve in production near environments. Yeah, automation, of course, that's also fits very well to us from Globaldatanet. So we automate almost everything's everything's in code. We want to version infrastructure configuration changes. This also makes the experimentation easier. We can remove stuff easily, can build stuff easily, and it's maybe at the beginning tricky to learn new things, but you will get the time definitely back if you automate from start everything. Allow for evolutionary architectures. This is general design principles that you always ask yourself if there's some things which you can change from your architecture day by day to improve it, and also to experiment with some things which you never used before. Drive architectures using data. As I said, we should stop guessing about metrics, and our architectures, decisions and designs should be definitely coming from a data-driven approach. So we need data to really build scalable architectures and selecting the right services for our needs and for the data. Just an example that we should use the right database just for our use case, and not just saying, okay, like a relational database is the right database for us. We need to understand the use case and using the data, the metrics behind this to really design the perfect architecture. Improves through game days. Sadly, I don't see so many companies who are actually doing this to meet your team or even people outside your team to bring for a game day in a relaxed atmosphere and bring, for example, you select a topic, for example, reliability, and bring your environment, your application under stress to test the reliability in multiple use cases. So, for example, we also help other partners to do this game days. For example, with disaster recovery, we just finished one game day where we say, okay, the goal is that we test the disaster recovery. And the goal is to improve and to see how far we can come and see what is maybe missing, that disaster recovery is really successful. Okay, then we start with the first pillar and also the design principles for the first pillar, operational excellence. As I said, operational excellence is mostly about automation, perform operations as code. So we can actually use code same way as we develop our application for every configuration, for even the full infrastructure, for doing updates of our infrastructure, which is then completely versioned and revertible, and also documented who did what in our infrastructure. We can implement operations procedures as code, so we can have run books and can describe it in code, and we can automate. Even this can be then optimized, and we can automate execution by triggering and, for example, response to specific events. By performing operations as code, we can limit human errors and enable consistent responses to events. The next item, make frequent and small reversible changes. So going away from a monolithic approach. So we design workloads to allow components to be updated regularly, very regularly, very, very small changes. We build very small increments. this can be also completely reversed if it will change, and hopefully without affecting customers when possible. So if it's just a small change, maybe it will not affect like our users or customers, instead of having like a big update and like we did it years before, and hoping and planning this update 6 months ago, and everybody was praying that nothing's happened, but it was always something's happening. Then the next item, refine operations procedures frequently. As you use operations procedures, look for any opportunities to improve them. As you evolve your workload, evolve your procedures, and as I said, set up regular game days to review, validate all these procedures, and make your team familiar with them. Anticipate failure. It's actually like a culture of failure also, and it's very best practice to perform pre-mortem exercises to identify potential sources of failures, so that we can remove or mitigate before. And also here, set up game days to test workloads, and also team responses to simulate different kind of events which are important for your business, for continuously business. And then, of course, learn from all these operational failures, drive improvements through lessons learned from all your operational events and failures, and share that learnings across your teams, and maybe also through the entire organization. The next pillar. So, of course, this are just overall design principles for specific pillars. There are hundreds of best practices just within these pillars, which we don't go through, but this would be part then of an official well-architected review. And this is a guideline to show you how you will come to a well-architected review. Okay, so the design principles are for security. Implement a strong identity foundation. As I already said, it's a best practice to use short-term credentials instead of static long-term credentials, but also implement the principle of least privilege, and enforce separation of duties with appropriate authorization for each interaction with your AWS resources. You also should think about like a centralized identity management. So if you have different environments and isolate, for example, dev on stage and production systems, you should definitely think about a centralized authentication system, maybe also to integrate existing security or IDPs, so your internal identity provider with AWS, so that you don't have to manage another authentication systems or users. Enable traceability. So everything's about monitoring, alerting, auditing actions and changes of your environment in real time. It's about integrating of logs and metrics collections, and with the goal that we automatically investigate and take actions if something is happening, to really see the inside of our application, and maybe also like real user monitoring if your tool set allows us. Apply security at all layers. It's not just enough to have to use HTTPS in the front end. It's even much more. So it's every service has some security layer, and some of the security layers already operated and managed by AWS, and they bring a lot of things, especially when it comes about serverless services. But you need to check all your layers. It's about the edge, it's network, it's VPC, load balancing, every instance, compute service, operating system, your application until the code and containers. So it needs to be checked at all layers. Automate security best practices. So yeah, there are a lot of tools available to automate security best practices. There are a lot of services from AWS available to help you there, but also a lot of open source tools. Regarding this security layers. Yeah, so we are very, very specialized into security automation, and also have a lot of, we have a big toolbox just to improve security in cloud environments. Keep people away from data. It's easy to read, but also some things what we honestly don't see in most of our environments. So in many environments, people who, for example, DevOps engineers have actually access to all customer data. And we help a lot of teams to save their data and keep people who should not get access to customer data or productive data access. We help companies first with the classification of data, so that we really find out what is sensitive data, and then we use different methodologies to keep to implement access controls if possible. And then we have protect data and transit address, so that we also help them with all the encryption parts for the application, even with the internal service-to-service communication inside your VPC network, for example. Okay, especially for this security pillar, there's a very interesting webinar, and to learn the security best practices, well-architected best practices. And it's, I also added a link here, and it's on 29 June for 60 minutes, and you learn the AWS well-architected security design principles completely free. And we highly recommend that you also register to this webinar. Coming to the reliability pillar, design principles of reliability automatically recover from failure. It's very important that we monitor our workload for key performance indicator KPIs, so that we reach this specific values that we can trigger. We can set automated trigger when a specific threshold is breached, for example. And these KPIs actually help us for these automations. Then test recovery procedures. Testing is not typically used to validate recovery strategies. This was coming from on-premise. In the cloud, you can test how your workload fails, and you can validate your recovery procedures. You can use the full automation to simulate different failures or to recreate scenarios that lead to failures before something is happening. And this approach exposes failure pathways that you can test and fix before real failure scenarios occurs to reduce risk. So it's super important. Then scale horizontally to increase aggregate workload availability. So we should replace one large resource with multiple small resources to reduce the impact of a single failure. So that's everything's going to a microservice-oriented architecture. Distribute requests across multiple smaller resources to ensure that we don't share a common point of failure. So that's scale horizontally. stop guessing capacity. So we have talked already about this, and also regarding automation of changes. So your changes to your infrastructure should be also made by automation. So you can revert them, you can document that, and it's completely tracked and also visible to the full team. Then we come to the performance pillar. So it's democratize advanced technologies. We have a lot of services available, especially when it's coming about, for example, databases, machine learning, media transcoding. There are a lot of specialized expertise necessary, and it's super easy to consume this as a service in the cloud, and this should be also motivate us to use our more advanced technologies to try things out. Go global in minutes. Deploying our workloads in multiple AWS regions around the world allows us to provide lower latency, better experience with a minimal cost. Use serverless architecture. That's definitely could be a Globaldatanet best practice. So we for us, servers are dead, so we are building mostly everything on serverless architectures using event-driven systems, because we see that operations and maintenance of systems can be done through AWS much better. The system scales automatically, and what is super excited also for our customers that they pay services per value and not per resources which are maybe idling. So we are able to calculate transactions costs, so that we maybe really can see, okay, this transaction cost us this amount, so that we also can map cost to business values. Experiment more often. This is, I think, super important to learn more things, new architectures, that we really can try things out. For example, if there's a new instance type available or new service available, so that we try this out, experiment with this one to even improve the performance. And the last item is about understand how cloud services are consumed, and always use the technology approach that aligns best with your workload goals. So, for example, consider data access patterns when you select a database or different storage approaches. And this is also very important to share this with your colleagues, share experience, to get to try out new ideas. Then we come to the cost optimization pillar. Implement cloud. So cost optimization, or FinOps, is mostly separated in two different topics. This is cloud financial management and cloud cost optimization. And cloud financial management is about cost allocation and visibility, and also, for example, forecasting of cloud costs. And it's a design principle to have some system or tools available to help you with this one. Adapt a consumption model. You should pay only for the computing resources that you really require, and you should increase or decrease usage depending on business requirements, or choose like a consumption model versus is done for you automatically. You should stop resources which are not used, for example, for potential cost savings. Maybe your dev and stage systems are not needed for 24 hours, and maybe they are just used during the business hours, so that you can implement services like scheduler or in containerized environments, but also for servers to schedule shutdowns or starts, so that mostly you have just with scheduling a cost optimization of 75% available. Measure overall efficiency. This is this is about measure efficiency and not like measure cloud cost. So we try to, or you should try to improve your efficiency to get more from the cloud. Of course, it would be nice to pay less, but the most important thing is to get more for your money. And this is everything's about that you measure your overall efficiency, that you really measure the business output of your workload, and you associate the cost with this one, so that you can have this measure this overall efficiency. Stop spending money on undifferentiated heavy lifting. Yes, that's also about that you handle workloads like you did it in the data center. And in the public cloud, we can just remove this operational burden of managing operating system applications by using managed services. And this allows us to focus on our customers and also on our business projects rather than on IT infrastructure. And for this reason, this is one of the reasons why we also choose to build almost everything with a serverless approach. And we have analyze and attribute expenditure. The cloud makes it easier to accurately identify the usage and cost of systems, which then allows transparent attribution of IT costs to individual workload owners. So it's everything's about to map this cost to application services, and we can say exactly, okay, this application or even this microservices cost me this amount of money. And then we can think about maybe alternative ways to improve our cost or getting more resources for our money. So they are very interesting.
Marc, sorry, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
So from what you just explained, like it looks like the cloud is expensive, unsecure, unreliable, everything. You just put so much fear into people's minds. So is this kind of uncharted territory? What is this?
These are just design principles to improve. So there are, as I said, there are even a lot of more things which you need to take care. But as I would say, in the on-premise world, there are much more risks are available when you look close to this one.
Yeah, I mean, you're obviously suggesting that we need to think of about all these issues in advance, not to avoid them, because hard disks will fail, servers will fail, and the whole cloud thing is just about preparing. And this well-architected thing is just about preparing in advance that it will happen. Am I right?
It's not. It's more a process which we need to, which we can or should use continuously. For example, I will show you how you can sit together with your team to go through the complete framework of best practices, to sit down with the team and discuss the things, and you get a risk plan, what can be improved. And for example, after 6 months, you will do the same and will reflect this and see, okay, cool, we have solved more and can improve our environment more. So because most of the risk through missing knowledge and missing best practices are not in the focus of the team, especially when it's come about security. And it's just giving, you don't need to fulfill everything, but it's just some of the recommendations you can think about if you want to implement this. And also, not everything need to be adapted and needed to be optimized at the same time. It's a process, and it should be done continuously. This reviews, and this framework just helps you to give you all the best practices. And as I said,
sorry, should one person have all these things in their mind? Like a developer, should they think about costs, about the reliability, everything, or just it's part of the story? I mean, is it?
It's part of the. It's part of the full team. No, I think we need to sit together with, for example, with engineers, with developers, with a project manager, because many best practices are even business orientated. Not everything is technical orientated. So we should sit together with on a big table with all peoples which belongs to our product and to our application to go through, and not everything can be answered from one person, but so this reason is we need a bigger group to answer most of the questions. If we are doing this, if we should do this, or maybe we even don't need to do this.
Yeah. Do I, as a developer, need to think about the cost of my code? Is it expensive, or if it's bad written, I mean, it's going to cost a lot. So obviously everyone needs to take care about all these parts.
Yes. And if you are longer using cloud services, developers starting already to think before they code how they can how's the most efficient way to write this new service, for example, to save just cost. If you, for example, run your code in a nano service, in a serverless function like Lambda, or in a container, and you improve your code to run, for example, 50% faster, you will save already 50% of your money with Lambda, because your Lambda function will maybe run 50% faster, and it will be charged per millisecond. And in a container, it might you can check the slack cost of your container, and maybe can just adjust your resources to save also money for the resource allocation there. But this is mostly seen for people who have long cloud experience and maybe are already 5 or 7 years developing for the cloud, in the cloud, and they start already, it's called FinDev, they start already to think how they can develop efficient code, for example.
Okay, thanks, Marc. Please proceed. Yeah.
So there are well-architected labs available if you're interested into a specific topic. As we already said, not every topic is maybe related to you and maybe also not interested for you. But if you have, for example, specific interests, for example, how to save costs, these well-architected labs are super interesting. And there are some very, very nice and guided solutions available. For example, in the cost optimization, it's structured in different difficulties. So level 100 is easy, then 200, 300, and we also have 400 level labs available. For example, in the cost optimization, there are also really nice tracks available for cost visualization. How you can build cost visualization. This one is an easy one, but there are also some enterprise dashboards available, which you can also. This is enterprise dashboards. You see, this is an example of the dashboards you will build through this lab, and they're using QuickSight for this one. There are some very, very nice labs available. For example, there are also, these are the pillars of the well-architected framework, and here's also that we are coming to this tool as well, the well-architected tool. And here also very nice labs available. The well-architected tool helps you to do this reviews with your team or with a partner or even with AWS together. And this tool also has an API and can be automated. And here are also labs available, how you can automate this well-architected review results to write to the AWS well-architected tool using the API. Okay, so this is the well-architected labs. Then we're coming to the well-architected tool. I will give you a demo of this one, a short demo, show you how it looks like. Here also, so in every AWS account, we have this tool available. We can create a workload. Yeah, we can add a name here and the description. We can say, okay, who's the review owner? We can say, okay, it's production or it's pre-production. Select the regions where my workload is running. We can also say, okay, it's a non-AWS region. We could also say it's an on-premise architecture review I want to do. And here I can optional add my account ideas. Here, for example, a link to an architectural design and filling out the industrial, and that's it. And then you can apply a lens. We're coming later to the lens. So we have a general well-architected tool lens, but we also have specialized. For example, there's one lens just for serverless available or for data analytics. Or for specific industrial available. You can share workloads with other teams. So when we are doing, these are, for example, currently running well-architected reviews, which we are doing for our clients. And I just can click on one. And it looks like this. You can see we went through the review, so the pillars, and you can see how many questions are there available. And I will also go to the questions. And then you see how many high-risk issues are available. So 9 high-risk issues in the operation excellence pillar and 1 medium risk. That doesn't mean that we need now directly today remediate this finding. This is just best practices, and you will decide if this is a good best practice which you can apply, which you want to apply, and when do you want to apply. So you can just learn from AWS, building years of software, and can learn from all their best practices. No? For example, if we go to the security, you also will see the questions. And also, so this looks like this. How do you, I showed you already the question in the documentation, and here's how you can go through. So you will ask your team these questions and can then go, and then you click to the sections. For example, you are analyzing logs, findings, and metrics centrally, yes, no, and you will click it. If you don't, if you have problems to answer these questions, for example, are you automating response to specific events, and you don't understand this, you also have like a small description here, which will help you to answer this question. So you will go in the review, you will go through every question, and this is actually already the result. And this result is saved in a milestone. When I click here, sorry. Yep. You need to click on the workload name, and then you have the milestone, and you see this is the first review. We answered all the questions. We have 31 high risk and 10 medium risk. And for example, after 6 months, you can work on the remediations if you want. And maybe after 6 months, you want to do another review, a second review, and make this again. And maybe you will see some improvements. And maybe instead of 31 risk points, you might have 20, for example. No? So that you continuously can improve and review your workload and learning from best practices from AWS. And they are continuously adding more best practices, more tips, more resources, more tools, so that you can build better and higher quality software in the cloud. Okay, applying AWS well architected. Yeah, you have different approaches how you can do this reviews. What is important is that it is not an audit or something like this. It is that you sit together in a round and try to find optimizations for yourself, nothing else. So this is the reason why it's called a review or not like assessment or an audit. It's a review which helps you to improve your architectures and to build better software. It's also not for architecture astronauts. They're using pragmatic and proven advices. No? But as I also said, not every advice is maybe should be followed by you. You will decide if this is which is an advice which will help you or not. And as I said, it's not a one-time check. It's a life cycle, and it should be continuously checked with your team, with all the stakeholders, to do this continuously and not just one time, or for example, do it before a launch or something like this. So yeah, you should iterate this, and for example, halfway or sooner, close to launch or post launch, and do this continuously. And you will, and there's always some things which we can improve. So you have yeah, 3 different possibilities to do this review. You can use it in the self-service mode. Just use the AWS well architected tool, which is completely for free, and you can sit with your technical team, but also with the business leaders, which maybe has a responsibility from the business side of the application. Should be also part of this review. There are a lot of questions where we need the business leads to help us. There's also possibility to do this with a partner like us as Globaldatanet. So you will see, okay, you will get a guided person, which is an official APN partner, or you can do this with an official review from AWS using a solutions architect, AWS solutions architect. If you are doing this with a well-architected partner like us, most of the partners are doing this reviews for free. They will also give you a lot of, like we are doing this as well, they give you a lot of best practice and solutions for the founded high-risk issues. So we not just telling you, okay, you have 32 high-risk issues and these are the high-risk issues. We also give you already like an action plan how you can work on this and how you can improve this. So you could then decide, okay, for example, I want Globaldatanet to help me with this one, so that the partner can create a statement of work and for the improvements, and then, for example, a partner can help you there. And if this is the case, and the partner solve 25% of the founded high-risk issues, which could be also some things very, very small, then you will get also funding of $5,000 in credits from AWS, because AWS is very, very interested that you run more secure and more high-quality software in the cloud.
So Mark, if we do everything right, we don't get any money. If everything is bad and then you get some improvements to us, it's $5,000. So why is that?
I never seen a review where everything. There's always some things to improve. Yeah, there are I don't know 60, 70 questions with maybe 5 to 10 options, right? So there's high chance to improve something. Yeah.
So when you analyze these things with companies that you work with, so do you have priorities? Do they set priorities like the cost is the biggest problem, or how do you prioritize among these things?
Yes, so mostly the priorities, mostly or always the priorities are coming from our partners. Now, for example, so we doing the review with them. We creating like an improvement plan, and we also say, okay, this should, from our perspective, these are very, very high risk issues. You should definitely to do this. We give them already a recommendation. Now, this is nice to have. You could do this, but then at the end, of course, the customer, our partners are deciding which are their personal priorities. No? Some have a very high prioritization on security. Some say, okay, our systems need to be more reliable, so we want to just have more reliable services. And some are say, okay, I really need to bring down my costs, and then be helping them with this cost optimization.
Okay.
And this $5,000 are really straightforward, and so it's not there's a long process. There's a long process, but a complicated process. But the complicated process needs just to be fulfilled by the partners. We know exactly how this is working, but there's nobody who will decide if you will get this money. You will get this money for sure. You just need to have 3 criteria to get this money. The first criteria is it need to be so 25% need to be solved. So I will show you again. Yep. You see, for the first milestone, we saved 31 high-risk issues and 10 medium-risk issues. And for the next milestone you will save, you would have solved 25% of this amount, of this 31. If this is, and our customers will choose, of course, which high-risk issues they want to solve. No, they go through this list, then they see, okay, here's a high-risk issue. They click, for example, okay, I'm interested really in cost optimization, and then we are going to this specific issues, for the high-risk issues, and they will, of course, decide what they want to solve.
So from the perspective of your clients, like which clients are more risk in a bigger risk? Sorry. Like those who started in a way that they just did lift and shift to the cloud, just copied applications, or those clients who are just trying to not to migrate but to transform, and they did everything serverless with CloudFormation or CDK or stuff. So obviously there is a bigger risk for all these coming from the legacy technology.
Yes, absolutely. Most of them are dark red.
So these monolith applications, single giant databases and stuff like that don't really work well in the cloud. So
exactly, yeah.
And and $5,000 probably won't help to fix all the problems.
Yes, yes, that's true. That's true, but it's actually a good chance, and many customers and many customers use this because then they use this 5,000 at least for a starting point to get some help. No, there's a list available with this link. You come to the Well-Architected Partner page. You can search for partners which are official AWS Well-Architected Partner, and then you can discuss this opportunity with them. Some of the learnings, pre-launch only. Should we do this well-architected reviews just shortly close before we launch our new application, for example? And the answer is definitely earlier is better, definitely, because you will get a good feedback what you can improve. You will decide what you will improve, and sometimes you need more time for the improvements there. Make bad decisions. I would say bad decisions are better instead of no decisions, because from bad decisions we get a feedback and we have a possibility to improve. And findings, don't be shy to have a lot of red things there. It's normal and it's natural that that there is some things to improve. Most workloads can be improved, and many workloads should be also improved. And it's just give us more transparency and more safety how we can build better software. And there are also a lot of content available in the MSIN Builders library. This is actually like all, not all, but a lot of best practices how to build architectures more efficiently. So most of them send architecture guidance. And there is also the Architecture Center available. I go also to this one. Architecture Center. Right here. And this Architecture Center is actually split into technology categories, but also in industries and additional technology categories. So for example, if you are super interested to build your next application serverless, then go to serverless and you will find a lot of architecture best practices, learn from very, very big companies, but also from small companies, how to build your next generation serverless architecture with best practices. Sometimes it's very easy consumable content. Sometimes just 10 minutes or something like this, but the learnings from this one are just amazing. So I really can recommend to use this Architecture Center. There are hundreds of architectural best practices available. You just need to decide in which direction you want to learn some things new. You also can see some industrials already where you can learn from industrial specific architectural challenges. Okay, this was my presentation. And are there any questions which I can answer?
People are usually shy in our groups, and you need to push them to ask. But this this whole topic is really high level in many ways. So it requires something which is not really common with developers and DevOps, just to read the manual, read the frequently asked questions, read the documentation, read all these things slowly, and then make then start developing, because people just start developing and publishing and that's it. So so one of my question for you, there's a rise of tools like CDK, opinionated tools which help you build better applications. So there's obviously a way to start some of these things. So if you can just say like a couple of things that you, out of all these things, which are the most important, like 5 pillars of Marc that would really work for these people. Like what do you think are the most important things?
I think most important is, from my perspective, is to automate your things from the very, very beginning. You will not get time after developing some things to that somebody will give you time to think about automation. So I think it's really important to automate everything, your infrastructure, but also starting directly to build your continuous integration, continuous delivery pipelines from the very, very beginning. bring this together, build small portions of microservices, bring your CI/CD, the infrastructure code for your CI/CD pipeline, the infrastructure code for your application, for your microservices inside your repository, close to your application code. Start with testing from the very, very beginning, add into your automations, linting tests, for example, or even already security tests. There are tools available where you can where you can check the security of your infrastructure code before you deploy something to the code.
So that's something which is not really for people that are just coming to the cloud, is that it's not just automating the build of the code. It's the whole infrastructure that can be described as code and then deployed. So that concept is really, really strange for most developers and then people just coming to the cloud. So everything should be automated, not just the code. It should be the whole infrastructure, versioned, tested, and stuff like that. So there are good things to do that, like CloudFormation, and then of course, which is a basic, but Terraform and CDK and stuff like that. So
yeah. And maybe one recommendation is, I know that it's not a big topic for developers, but it's highly recommended to think about security at the very beginning. And if you don't have this knowledge, maybe sit together with somebody. Even it doesn't need to be many days. Sometimes it's enough to talk with somebody who has more experience in this area, just for a few hours or even for 1 hour, to think about how is my security basement. We did already reviews for environments close to the lounge, and they said, oh, we never had time to think about security. And then we did the security review, and we found really unsecure and super risky things. And this ended up with very long and tired migration scenarios in new accounts where we need to first build this security basement and layer and do the migration of data and infrastructure and services there. And nobody wanted to have this, of course. And you could completely avoid this if you start from the beginning with a small security baseline and build them on top in a secure environment. And this is some things where you just need to have like a big security knowledge, but you need to fulfill some security principles at the very beginning, and then you can grow and learn from this and can improve. But to do this at the very end is a very, very bad decision, and mostly it's much more expensive.
Yeah. So the people should not open the door widely. Securities should be very tight. Nothing should be open. So just one by one, things should be open. Things that just need to be open, and to the sites which need to operate with these things. So developers tend to just open widely everything. So that's something that should be avoided. Okay, Marc, this was great. I mean, people will need to appreciate what AWS did for the community. They just collected everything, they put these things together, then provided as a tool. It's up to us to go through this thing, and of course, with the help of AWS partners, it should be much easier. So I will encourage people to ask questions and just dive in, and if they need, they will probably go and ask you. And I'll also encourage companies which are coming which is just starting with their cloud journey to contact you, or just to get this information before they make a bigger failure. So Marc,
exactly.
Yeah. So Marc, thank you very much. This is all recorded. It will be on YouTube. We'll also discuss it on our Slack channel. And I hope we'll see each other again next time when you come back to Belgrade.
Definitely. Thank you very much for the chance, and take care. Take care, and see you very soon.
Bye, Marc. See you.
Bye-bye.